All right. Think we are live. I think we
We
got everything
good.
ready.
Come on.
Yeah.
What's up? All right,
Open us up, Dylan.
I was making sure everything was like live, bro.
Introductions. Yeah, no, we're
Nah, talk
What's
about
up,
it.
everyone?
All right. So, thank you everybody for tuning in. This is the Croissant Cast episode 5 already. Does not feel like it's been that long,
Yeah, I know,
or
right? It's
we've
crazy.
done this many episodes already. Coming at you with another special guest today, the living meme, as you can see, the turtle himself, Doza. I'm Dylan is Killing. I'm joined with my co-host.
Zipmaster Flex, as always.
And DJ Malady, what's up, everybody?
What's up, DJ,
That
my
shit
lady?
kills me every
Hey.
fucking time.
What?
Shit.
I was telling everybody I'm about to change my tag or something, dude. Just doesn't.
No, you cannot do
I
that, bro.
swear. It is too late in the game, huh?
Don't break my heart.
Your tag is too iconic and too meme worthy.
Yeah, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
You
That's why I
legit
need to
break-
change it. People are like DJ Milady, and I'm like,
Oh,
okay.
you're complaining about that? We got a fucking picture of a turtle on screen for Glenn right now. Come on, bro.
Damn.
Oh man.
So,
Right.
how you doing tonight, Glenn? What's up, baby?
I'm all right. I'm glad to be on the show. You know, the often imitated, never duplicated, one and only the Doza coming at you
Oh
for
shit.
an interview, which doesn't happen too often. As
Yeah,
everyone
bro.
knows, I'm a
We
big fan of
planned on bringing you on
interviews.
sooner, but you fucking lied to us about having poison ivy, so we kind of changed our mind for a minute.
Lied? What do you mean?
Damn.
Was that a legitimate thing?
The blow up.
I'm telling you. That was a legitimate rash.
A
I'm not
legitimate
sure what
option
was going
select.
on. My whole body was freaking out. I couldn't play fighting games for a whole day. You know how
You
tough that
literally
was?
played
I
Street
had to
Fighter
sit there
on
and
stream the next day.
Yeah, the reason why I was
You know what I did
questioning
for a
that
whole day, Dylan?
is
Dylan,
because
you know what I did for a whole day? You want to know?
What?
I read a book because I could do nothing else. I read a book. Think about that. Me
I think about
reading.
Dude, I still need to finish Will to Keep Winning. I'm like fucking 75% done. I have not had the time to finish it.
That
Do
is
you
a
have a
very good
physical
book,
copy?
and it's definitely worth the read.
No, I was going to do it, but I didn't
I
want
need
to pay
to read it.
$40 for it. So Rob was like, "Don't pay $40. Download the Kindle app and pay $14." And I was like, "Oh shit, big
Y'all
brain."
should check out Apocalypse Z. I just got through with that shit. It's a zombie novel. Shit is fire.
The last thing I read is I finally read the actual Battle Royale book, and that was godlike.
Oh, you read the
I
actual
don't
book?
know.
Yeah, I have a physical copy of that.
Nice. I love the movie, the live action one.
Yeah, it's godlike. So we're gonna open up. Glenn, I'm gonna give you a choice, bro. Should we start with some questions for you, or you want to talk about some topics?
Oh, I am definitely not a topicer, so definitely hit me with some questions. You know, I'm an answerer. I can answer stuff.
All right, we'll hit you with a couple of questions, but we do have some topics we want to break into, get your opinion on them as well. But DJ, should we start off with the good or the question? Maybe start off in the questions and save those for maybe 30, 40 minutes in. All right. So Glenn, what was your first fighting game tournament you ever played in?
Oh man. Okay, so here it is. Right, it was a MechaCon. Shoot, it was like I was in like middle school, I think, man. Like maybe middle school. Like the
Was
end of
it
middle
after
school, beginning
MechaCon
of
moved
high
to New
school.
Orleans, or was it when it was still in Lafayette?
MechaCon New Orleans. It was Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I thought I was hot shit going into that MechaCon tournament with my Point Strider team, dude. My Point Strider. I thought I was so nice. I was like, I beat all the
Point
dudes
Strider.
online with Point Strider. You know, I'm about to wash all these dudes. I went to that tournament. I swear, I didn't go 0-2. You know, because
I like how you were still feeling yourself even back then. Like you were like, yeah, I'm about to.
I definitely got washed. I got like super washed. Like I think one of the old Marvel heads still recognized me from that one time. I think it might be Gary Trent.
Oh yeah, Gary's the homie, bro.
Yeah.
I love Gary.
Dude, I thought I was so nice with my Point Strider Doom Sentinel team.
I forgot what tournament it was
like a Marvel
that
2
Gary
team.
was at. That Gary showed me a video. I forgot whose room they were in or what major it was, but Gary he played Hulk and shit, and he was in somebody's room. It's like 2013, maybe 2012. And he blew this dude up in his room after, like, you know, they were down talking him. And I think it was like Vu, you hear in the back screaming, or like Joe Shine or something. But yeah, apparently Gary used to be mad nice at MBC3.
Dude, yeah, Gary's super good. It's like, and it sucks, right? Because there's no Marvel game right now. So, like, that was my first fighting game tournament when I think about it. You know, of course, there was like maybe like online tournaments I entered here and there back then, but my first tournament entry was Marvel, you know, and I'm like, man, there's no Marvel game to play right now, you know.
Because
We
the
could start
community
playing
killed Infinite.
We could play Infinite. Infinite's godlike. I don't care what anybody
Infinite's
says.
fucking ridiculous, bro. That game didn't deserve what it got.
Glenn was feeling Infinite. I remember he was feeling his team too. You played Captain Marvel and
Ultron.
Nova? Oh, okay.
Ultron. So a little bit of hidden lore actually. Frosty Faustings, I think 2017 or 2018. I almost eliminated Ryan LV from Marvel Infinite.
Oh shit!
Oh snap!
Yeah,
The hidden killer.
You can ask him about it. He will tell you. It went
I
2-2
believe
and
you.
everything, and I lost in the most ridiculous way. It was like Morgan's level 3 crossed me up or something, and I was like, man, that's Marvel. But you know, it was like my first time ever. Like,
you have no idea.
Yeah, dude. I was like, I didn't even know that could happen in this game. You know, and it's like, I never really experienced that kind of like, you know, like randomness in a fighting game. But most fighting games I play, I'd say, are pretty stable. You know, so like, you know, that was just like, whoa, this could happen. This is a fighting game. Like, this is how I go out. You know, and I still like the game, but man, I was upset because I was super close to beating him too. It was like close to a last hit scenario.
Is that how you like became known in the LAFGC?
Or you still talking
about Marvel. Yeah, that was Marvel, like Frosty Faustings. Like,
oh no, I'm bad. Question was supposed to be for the MechaCon tournament.
Oh, so no, actually, my first time really interacting with the Louisiana FGC was actually when I went to college. I went to college at LSU for a couple of semesters, and I had some free time, and you know, fighting games were still like a big part of my life. You know, I played a lot online and everything, so I was like, you know, well, now I can actually go out and socialize with these people who have a similar interest to me. So I think it was 2015, fall of 2015. I showed up at the Cove for casuals, and there were a couple of baseball players. Actually, now that I think about it, the first person I played in Louisiana at the Cove was Ty Abear in Guilty Gear, and I remember
the homie,
bro. That's the homie, right? And I remember when I played him in my first like game, I took his burst in Guilty Gear, and everyone was super hyped because they were like, "Oh my god, this kid knows how to play," and I was like, "Yeah, your boy's kind of nice, you know, just a little bit."
All right, so hold on, I got a side question that since you brought Ty's name up, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Ty or James Butler?
Oh my god, that's a very expensive question.
Is it though?
It is though, like, because you got to consider the track record, right? But if I had to give it to like right now, like without any prior practice, right, I would give it to James because I don't think I don't know the last fighting game Ty has touched. I haven't seen Ty in
Tekken. He still plays Tekken all the time.
Love both of them. They're both really cool people, but if I had to like, you know, give an edge to somebody right now, like James is still out there, you know, competing and everything. And he still plays Marvel on occasion.
I'm pretty sure Ty still plays Tekken all day, every day. That's about it, though. And Ty was actually nice at Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
He was very much so.
All I did in that game was scoop people up with Ghost Rider level 3.
Yeah, dude, I played Ghost Rider, Jetta. That game was fun, bro.
That game was super fun. I played
I
Thanos
think
Dante.
that game is
Cornball
like
Central. Let's get it.
Jesus.
that game is like the pinnacle of, I think the community literally memed that game to death, because I understand like as a product, like a whole product, it probably wasn't the best product out there, right? But as a fighting game, that was a really good fighting game, and a lot of people, I don't think, can look past that.
Yep. What's
Dude.
crazy is people were still gonna play it, and the icing on the cake was Evo was like, "Hey, guess what? Marvel didn't make it."
Yeah, that's
I
bullshit.
couldn't believe they did that, and then that was it. That was a wrap.
That's bullshit. Yeah, I feel like that actually. I think if it would have actually been at Evo, the game it might not be alive like right now at this moment, but it definitely would have had a longer lifespan.
Easily, yeah. If it would have made Evo, it would have. People would have wanted to keep playing. I mean, also, wasn't the tournament circuit for that kind of trash too? That Infinity Stone shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
very awesome.
that's on their side. They killed themselves on that side.
Yeah, that was kind of
Yeah,
ass.
you had the extra gems give you an extra life in bracket, or like you get the free initial hit on the combo that Cloud 805 dropped anyways.
That shit.
Oh my god.
Are you talking, DJ? Are you talking about the end game use of the stones?
No, I'm talking about they had.
No, he's talking about the fucking stones, bro.
Hold up.
So
You're telling me if
stupid,
you
dog.
won a stone, if you won
then
you were able to use
got
the
a stone, and the stones all gave you different special like power ups to use in bracket. Like the soul stone gave you like 3 lives or some shit, or like no, it gave you an extra game that your opponent had to win in the set. Like it was like
Yes, that's what it was.
you had to win
That's
the
what
2
it
out of
was.
3, but they had to win the 3 out of 5, and it was.
Yeah. So like if
That
you
is nuts.
get closed out, you could play the soul stone and then get to run that set again.
Yeah.
Or something like that. You either get a
Basically.
whole nother match or run the whole set over. I don't remember. It was fucking stupid.
The mind gem was like you get to literally choose your opponent's button layout or something like that. So
What?
it's like,
I didn't know.
They're like looking at your stick. They're like, "Oh, the select button up here. All right, that's your heavy, and then your like, oh my god."
All right, that's ridiculous. I didn't know.
One of them was like you could move people throughout the bracket, right?
Yeah. One, I think, move positions.
Oh, I gotta play F champ next round. Psych! I'm gonna play this random,
dude. It was so dumb.
Yo, that
it made
is
for
whack
great
as
entertainment
fuck,
in a way,
bro.
but it was like as a credible like competitive experience. I can't believe like.
Yeah, like if that was just for
People
fun,
would be
if they
happy
just
about
invited some top players and was like, "All right, guys, here's the fucking stones," and then they had some like this fun event that you watch, cool.
Yeah.
But for your fucking finals, get out of here, bro.
Yeah, because that's considered being like the Capcom Pro Tour. Like if it was like the Beyond the Summit kind of shit, where like just 12 top players had to go stay in the house together, and like that'd be entertaining. But like for the actual tour, fuck no, dude, that's whack as fuck.
Yeah.
Definitely. I would say it was definitely the final nail in the coffin for MVCI, man. Like that, it was so poorly executed. Also, it was not a good look for them at all.
Jesus. Well, by the way, congrats, Glenn. You're coming off of a second place finish at Wednesday Night Fights last Wednesday. Good shit.
I appreciate it. Not good enough. Not good enough at all, man. I wanted to take it all.
No, I feel that.
It seemed like you were on
That
a
was-
huge tear. I watched like the last 3 or 4
Oh,
sets.
dude.
you
I mean,
played.
dude, one of the people you eliminated was the best player in the game right now.
Yes. So actually, I eliminated the best player in the game, Fear Chimera. I also eliminated the Evo champ, in STK. So I took some names, and I feel like that's always been like my strength. Is I don't think I'm the most consistent player, but I think on a good day in fighting games, I like myself over literally anybody in the world.
That's the shit I'm talking about.
That's that confidence, yeah.
That's the shit I'm talking about. So now that you're, fully transitioned into like heavily Power Rangers, definitely with offline, the game has a godlike netcode. How's your experience in the game so far? I know you're loving it due to netcode alone mostly, but like describe the difference on like what Power Rangers brings to the table compared to all the other fighting games you play.
It's definitely a matter of possibilities, right? So the thing with Power Rangers is a lot of characters have very over the top special moves that you normally wouldn't find in most traditional fighting games or even team games, right? Like for example, like Doggy Kruger has a special that's Captain Sword, right? And that's insane. Like you want me to use Captain Sword with for no meter? Like that's crazy, you know? No meter, no nothing. It's just you can do it right here, right now. And I'm like
Mhm.
that's insane, you know? A lot of games don't have like just screw it. We're just gonna throw it all out the window. Just make it as crazy as we want. Um, there's a character with like a full screen command grab in that game, and combine that with the game system mechanics like active switch, and takeover and snapback, and you have a crazy fighting game. There's some blockables everywhere. There's TODs everywhere. There's plink dashing. There's wave dashing. There's uh untackable setups. There's unjumpable setups. It is. I'm not gonna say it's it might be close to the most broken fighting game I played, but
That sounds fun to you?
Dude,
The thing about it
when the
is,
game
right?
first
I'm not
came
gonna lie,
out, I was
seems
playing a
pretty
lot
fun.
of it, and then all like the Touch of Death started coming out, and I went from like the first month of the game, like having a shitload of fun playing it online, and then just getting TOD left and right. I was like, never mind. I love watching it. But your boy ain't getting
Exactly.
online with it no more.
Exactly. I will watch that shit, but
So
bro,
like
my homies
the
play
big
that
thing
shit. I
about
can't
the
do it.
game, right? I would say that kind of like even though the game isn't necessarily balanced, right? Like there's of course there's the characters that outshine others, is that everyone can do that stuff, right? I think literally every character in that game has a TOD. Literally everyone. And I'm like, so it's kind of like the, well, everybody's kind of super in this game, right? Like everyone can do all the crazy BS, everybody can unblockable or do some crazy left right 50-50. So it's like there are certain like realms of viability in most games, right? Like there's a certain cutoff where it's like, oh well, this character isn't necessarily tournament viable, right? There are people making top one, top two, top three in that game with the worst characters in the game, and that for me was like, this is great, like when I think about Marvel 3 or Ultimate Marvel 3, right? There were people who were good with like Hashinko and Phoenix Wright, characters. Like,
Mhm.
there were not Ryan LV, Filipino champ lost to I Heart Justice, Phoenix Wright, right? One of the worst characters in the game. But I don't think I Heart Justice won that tournament. I'm pretty sure he didn't, right? Like people in Power Rangers are winning with bottom three. And I'm like, that's crazy. And these guys are like consistent. They're known very well for what they do. And I think that it's kind of like, well, everybody's kind of broken in this game, right? So I think that kind of adds to the fun for it for me. Like, I think my team is like really good, but I don't think my team is the best in the game. Believe it or not, there's no one else that really plays my team at my level, which is really interesting because I felt like my team was very easy to craft. Um, and I have a lot of friends that play it. Like my main training partner is my brother, like my literally my brother. So I always have somebody that I can play games with. And combine that with the fact that my brother lives in he, he's gonna be mad when he listens to this because I always forget where he lives. He lives in like Nebraska or Connecticut or some shit. I always forget. Sorry, Chris. You know I don't
Jesus.
remember.
Nebraska
Your
is
own
hold on,
brother,
over
bro.
in
But
like the Midwest, and then Connecticut is like
he lives somewhere, dude.
He lives somewhere.
But
That's
my
something.
point is like no matter where he is, right? Like I can play him on a stable connection in the climate that we're currently in. And
oh yeah.
that has added so much replay value for that game for me. Like I can play almost anybody in the country in this game and have a stable connection. And that matters so much right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for
Well,
the fact that it
you
has
know,
rollback is a huge deal. I see a lot of people in Louisiana have started playing the game, so there's like a little scene for it now.
Oh yeah, man! I saw you with the Gia Udana some character. I was like, okay, Dylan.
TODs? Yeah, I was
Yeah,
learning. I had
yeah.
like a couple TODs with a couple characters, but I never like started playing the game. Actually, it was just like I don't know, life shit got in the way.
Yeah, that should happen.
Yo, let me train you up, bro. I got you. You already picking like a top 5 character in Gia? Yo, I can
Is she
cook
top
up some
5?
shit for you, man.
Gia's top 5?
Oh yeah, Gia is like super broken. Like imagine like Yoga Sniper that is a it's already an instant overhead, right? That combos on hit with your assist, and if they block your assist and the Yoga Sniper, it leads to an unblockable in neutral. Like,
Okay, all
it's
right.
insane.
And I'm playing that character. Okay.
She's really good.
Yeah, I saw the one guy that you were playing against that had her on point. He was just doing like instant overheads like over and over to you. I was like, jeez.
Oh yeah, that's SDK. That's the Evo champ. He's really good,
Yeah.
really proficient at the game. He taught me a couple of things. He's I would say probably the best information source for this game right now.
So we already know next Wednesday you're winning Wednesday night fights, but let's talk about the bigger part of this. The money match that's coming at CEO 2020. The money match that by the way, I'm throwing $50 on top.
Oh, go ahead and lace me up. Go ahead and lace me up.
You getting in on it too?
I said lace me up. I don't know nothing about this.
Oh, so all right, so check it out. Oh, go ahead, Glenn.
Okay, so essentially, like during my my top 8 run, because when the way that my tournament path went for the game, right, the tournament was, I got eliminated round 2 by the current #1 league champion leader Fear Chimera, and I had to pretty much now I have like to play a ton of games, right, because I'm in losers early. So I 3-0 I think every opponent up to top 8, and then in top 8 I fight Devious Waves, and I win with a pretty convincing 3-0, right? But then I have to fight Fear Chimera, who's the #1 player in the league currently, in the run back, right? And I'm like, man, this is gonna be super tough. And the set goes to 2-2, and I take it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, let's go. This is the first time I beat this guy, and it was a super close set. And during my run, right, like after I beat Fear Chimera, Doza's just playing this matchup all wrong. Man, I would wash Doza. Doza's not even that good. He doesn't even do real combos, which I will say, my combos in that game are pretty ass. They're not good, but I'm beating people off of raw fundamentals, right? Like I'm anti-airing, I'm smoothing, I'm doing everything. And he is just like super tight. Mizey is in like the stream chat arguing with him about how he was in the tournament too, right? But he got 16th.
Okay.
Like I'm in top 8 and he got 16th, and he is still in the stream chat talking mad shit. And I'm just like,
yeah, this dude being petty, like the armchair gaming, like being like, oh man, I can't believe Doza got away with this, blah blah blah. Yeah.
And it's just like, dog, I don't know where your confidence came from with the 16th place, but yeah, I'm doing the stuff that you're not, which is winning,
Yeah.
My man said that he said the only reason Doza got 2nd place and that he got 16th is because he has a job. Because if he didn't have a job, he would have got yeah.
That corny ass shit. Come on, fam.
Yeah, man, and it's just like,
He cut out. I don't know if
I'm about to say that's the 2nd time he cut out.
Am I still here?
Yeah,
I can hear you now.
Okay, good. And it's like I'm not one to normally talk shit, in fighting games. Like I'll have fun with you. I'll joke around and I'll be like, that was so scrappy and blah blah blah. But I will never like go out of my way to take away someone's win or demean their play, right? Like if they got the victory, they earned that in some way, shape, or form. But I was just like, this dude is really coming at my play like he's beating me on a consistent basis or something. And I'm like, where is this coming from?
The thing that killed me is when I looked at the bracket, because so basically, like you said, you got sent into losers early and you made a fucking like insane losers run from dropping down to losers early all the way to 2nd place. He had to get DQ'd or something because his job, wins his first game, and then gets bopped his second game. So like y'all were both put in the losers extremely early. He just couldn't get 2 games, and you got like 8.
That's it. I mean, it's just funny because it's like of all places for you to talk, shit, right? It's like in the stream chat, dog. Like, really, really?
Yeah. It's one
So-
thing to be salty, yeah, of course, like because he had to get DQ'd because you weren't like I don't know if he had work or whatever, right? And he doesn't get to play his winners match. But it's like another thing to just be actively like dogging someone and being like, oh, it could have been me. Like, it is
Well,
wild.
now we got a money match out of it though. He said he's gonna take. He said that Doza's a free $50 for him.
Yeah, free.
I'm down to watch
350,
that.
man. 5-0.
I'm down to
Oh
peep.
shit, we gonna be standing right behind it, baby.
I just like how this came from like, oh, this is the new game Glenn's picking up to like, oh, snap, Glenn's getting second place in Wednesday Night Fights. Like, oh shit,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah, and it's like
Some typical Glenn
I had
shit.
so many hours in that game already, and it's kind of insane.
Yeah, I forgot
Like,
that
I
you
played it a little bit
had
on
been
release.
playing before, like, like quarantine or almost, this year.
Yeah, Glenn started talking to me about that game like probably a month before COVID even hit.
I played it a lot with my brother because we aren't normally into the same fighting games. Like around when I was getting into Grand Blue, right? He was still playing, so he'd ask me to play on occasion, and I thought it was just a little fun side game. I never thought I would like get into it like super serious, but here I am. Playing the game, and I've already taken out my fair share of top players, which is still insane to me, right? Like how just straight up traditional fundamentals can transfer over into a variety of games, right? Because like I'm doing the things I would do in most other fighting games. It's just the speed is a bit faster here, right? Because it's a versus game. There's switching, there's tagging, there's a bunch of stuff on the screen, and you're trying to maneuver in and out of people's ranges still. But all at the same time, I'm like, yeah, this is definitely something I feel I did similar in Street Fighter, where I would like cage someone in the corner when I was playing Street Fighter 5, or in Grand Blue, where I would have to control space or take chances by rolling. And I'm like, this feels familiar, and I think that's just a testament to like your fundamentals can carry you so far in different fighting games, which is why I try to play. Right, like I've played Street Fighter, I played Grand Blue, I played Arena Fighters, I played Kill la Kill for a long time.
Remember when Doza was a top Brawlhalla player?
Oh no, we don't talk
snap!
about
World-renowned Brawlhalla player.
we don't talk about that.
That's lore,
Wait,
bro.
is that real?
That's real.
That's
This
lore.
man, top 8 CEO, right?
That's canon, bro.
It was top 8 at final round. I think it was actually my first final round. I top 8 in Brawl.
Bro, square up,
Yeah,
bro.
that was
Square up in Brawlhalla, dog. Square up. That's my shit.
yo, we can run the set, dude. We can run the
Oh,
set. I'm always
hell
down
yes.
to run the set. I was a top Barraza main, man. That was my
Oh,
boy.
you play Barraza. You're a cornball, bro. Mr. I Can't Die. I hate that character.
Yeah,
Vroom,
he doesn't
vroom.
die. He's got 9 defense, man.
Character's
He's
so
always there.
stupid, dog.
But yeah, like I feel like if you get the chance, right? Like you should always try to, as a competitor, like a competitive fighting game player, you should always try to like broaden your horizons and learn different fighting games, because you never know what you'll take from different fighting games. And I think people don't think about that too often. Like I've played, I think almost every fighting game, modern fighting game so far. I think the only one I haven't given a serious try is Tekken, which shout outs to Allocution, because I know he's probably in the chat gonna be like, yes, you should play Tekken. But I tried. I've given a fair shot at almost everything, and I think I've come out a better player for it. There's so much you can learn, and not all of it is restricted to one fighting.
I mean, so obviously, I've been even before Crescent. I've always like definitely everybody that's on the team. I've always like seriously monitored the way y'all played. I've always watched all y'all's matches. Like that, definitely like you and Toy and Alex and even DJ. Like even way before we even started Crescent, I would always be behind you watching y'all's games and shit. And like, one of the things that like I feel like I break down everybody, like Alex, for example. Alex, his whole thing was the top MK player that had no fucking fundamentals and just strictly succeeded off of God knows what. I say his ego. I think Alex's ego is his fucking. That's his source of power, bro. That is his Infinity
He's
Gauntlet.
the
The day
instinctual type
Alex,
player. Yeah.
yeah, the day he loses his ego and stops being like, oh, I'm like I do. I was in the car with him yesterday, and I was like, Alex, you been playing MK? Nah. I said, well, dude, what the fuck? CEO 2020 is right around the corner. Like, what are you going to do? He said, shit on everybody in my pools. It doesn't matter. I was like, that's what I'm talking about, bro. Like, the day he loses
Yeah.
confidence, he's going to be ass. But, like, for you, like, every fighting game I've watched you play, like, you're an actually a really smart player. And, like, there's times where I'm like, oh, no. And then all of a sudden, you know, like, you got some Android 17 shit that happens. And it's like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I definitely think I have a bit of what's the word? Tenacity. I think is the best way to put it for fighting games. It's like number one, I'm naturally competitive, just like almost everybody who competes and things like this. Is where like I hate losing. I'll lose. Like I'm willing to lose, but I don't want to just lose. I want to be number one. I want to win. I want to succeed. But I definitely think that my grit and my ability to like keep playing and keep learning and treat every match like a learning experience, whether it's in tournament or out of tournament, is definitely something that I pride myself on. Not everyone has the heart to lose, I think. And I think that's something that a lot of people really need to put into perspective when you're a competitor. Is like you're going to lose. Like no one is just great from the beginning, and you're gonna lose because you need to learn. And when you learn, you become better. And I definitely think that I'm someone who learns from my losses very, very well. I used to do a lot of VOD review back in the day for like Blaze Blue, and I think that was what
I think you cut out.
We lost you.
yeah, the Dogura thing. I know people. Some people have seen that. Some people may not know. But that was like extensive, like researching Dogura and looking at his tendencies and how he played and how to OS certain things and how to deal with his character and his playstyle. Because at that point, nobody in the United States was beating him. Actually, if I remember right, I was the first North American to beat him in Blaze Blue Central Fiction. And that was literally due to extensive training, hard work, and looking and researching.
You turned Dogra into a Street Fighter player.
Character. Yeah, like my character.
That's interesting. That's similar to what Dr. African said when he was on the cast last week. Is that we were asking him how he beat Fudo at Evo, and he takes like really extensive notes, like directly about each player's habits and things like that. So he has
boy got a book.
He had a plan. He had a plan of action. It sounds like you had a similar thing. Like you mapped out his tendencies and just like played it by your notes instead of like approaching it like, oh man, I'm playing Dogura or like anything else like that. You just kind of kept it with the information that you had.
Yeah, I definitely won't say I'm a.
I think we lost you again.
It's kind of button now.
That is a machine, but I definitely I think I kind of, how do I put this? I think I play a lot on feeling too. I think I have really good game sense and how to deal with certain scenarios and what people would want to do. Like I've always found it really hard to describe how I play fighting games because like I'm just like, well, I know I'm not the perfect fighting game player because there are things that I struggle with for sure, and obviously I'm not winning everything, so I know I'm not perfect. But I think I've reached a point of well-roundedness to where it's somewhat refined and that I can play on feeling, knowledge, and just straight up reads, right? Like, I think those are like around the 3 points that kind of make up fighting game players. Is, uh, their heart. I think there was something that went over, right? It was a video by I think Core Gaming where it went over the three fundamentals that make up fighting game players, and it was their brains, uh, heart and reads, and the body, which is execution. And I think I've gotten to a point where I'm above the average fighting game player at all three, but I don't necessarily embody one because if someone asked me if I felt I was a smart fighting game player, I'd say no. And if somebody asked me if if they were like, "Oh, you make such hard reads," and I'm like, "Heck no," and they're like, "Well, you have such good execution." I'm like, "I think I'm better than the average person when it comes to execution," but I've never really found a point where I really excelled. So I was like, "Well, maybe I'm kind of just in the middle." I think I'm a bit more refined than most people, and that's where my success has come from. And I think that well-roundedness has just come from being around the block when it comes to different fighting games. I've been in several different communities. I've played several games, and I've learned a good bit. And I don't necessarily think that I embody one thing right now, personally. I mean, of course, everybody has their opinions, and some people see me as a different fighting game player than others. But I think that I don't really have I don't really have a one thing that truly encompasses me right now.
You suck.
Yeah, I do.
Yo, we
I
having
suck, but I'm
some
godlike at the same time. It's
serious.
real weird.
Yeah, that's actually facts. We having some serious technical difficulties
Zip's
tonight.
phone
We've never
messing up.
had any issues like this in the previous 4 episodes, so this sucks. But
Yeah,
so the
my
next
episode's
question,
cursed. I'm not surprised.
it's the Franklin image, bro. You might have to fix Curtis's cam, DJ.
Yeah. Let's see if he's back. Oh, there he is. He's
The-
back. It should just
the
automatically
Doza
when he
curse.
comes back. It should just automatically show up again. Yeah.
So Glenn, next question before we get into a different little segment, real quick. So I want to say that you were the second player under the Crescent banner when we launched. So you've been under Crescent for almost approaching 3 years now. What do you think are some of the like biggest improvements you've made since being on the team?
Oh, definitely handling really bad losses. Personally, I always remember that the biggest loss I think I've had so far was Frosty Fausting's 2017 or 2018. I went 1-2 in Dragon Ball FighterZ, and this is after
Damn.
I had like my big splash in Dragon Ball, right? Like it was after I made top 8 at Combo Breaker and I made top 16 at CEL, right? I think 9th at CEL, literally. And this was like I was feeling pretty confident in my gameplay and my game, and I think 2nd at KI Texas. I was feeling good. And I went to Frosty Faustings and I played absolutely horrible. And I think in the past I would have. I'll be honest. I'm pretty sure I would have quit. That game that day. It was the fact that I've had a team and people to support me and cheer me up, and sort of take things like that as a lesson, right? And that it's literally not the end. Because when I used to lose, I used to be inside of my own head. I was a part of teams, but I still kind of dealt with my losses by myself, and I don't really like talking about them. I still don't. But I had people that reassured me that this is not the end for you, and this is literally just a bump. I am someone who doesn't take losses too well.
I mean, I've definitely seen a massive improvement over you from the years. And I remember going in when you were still like that at the beginning, and I feel like I've seen a huge improvement not only as your skill but your personal development as a player, like outside of the game as well. And I couldn't be more proud of you, bro. So
I
you a god.
appreciate it, man. I think
I think we
these
lost
are
you.
people who are gonna support me unconditionally, you know. And once I made that realization, I was like, wow, well, what the hell, you know? Like let's go for it, you know. And I'd win some, I'd lose some, and you know, my mental was still, I'd say, pretty solid. You know, of course that's a loss, right? So I'm not gonna feel great about it. But I became more accepting, I think. And I think becoming more accepting definitely made like my nerves and my anxiety about losing go down a ton. And all of that was due straight up just literally having people behind me. Um, People, I don't think it made such a huge difference. And I didn't realize that at first until, you know, I had several talks with you, with some of the other team members, and I had to realize, like, man, these guys are really here for me. And I think that was probably the best way I've improved as a competitor in general. Like, I learned how to deal with losses. Um, I'm still struggling, you know, like I'm not the best at it, but hey, you know, I'm getting better.
So to add on to that, DJ has something we're gonna go ahead and throw on the screen and watch with you.
Okay.
You might. This is gonna be enjoyable.
I'm not sure how Glenn's gonna see it on his phone, so it might be
no.
difficult. I can screen share.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Do that.
Yeah, it should pop up.
Okay,
then.
I'll do it. Let me
Let me
get the
see.
videos ready. We have the top 3 Doza pop-offs.
Oh my god!
It's not a video we made. It's just I have 3 videos loaded up here.
Three things that birth many memes.
They're not necessarily all in order, but okay. So
All right, tell me when you're screen sharing so I can see if it's working on mobile.
That's 1 sec.
Man, I feel like I know what all of them are gonna be too.
I mean, there's definitely more than 3 to choose from. Do you think what do you think the 3 that we're about to show are?
Ooh, okay. So also it did pop up, Dylan. I can watch.
Okay,
it.
cool. You can see it.
So if I had to take my guess, right? My guesses are definitely the Moke one. That one's definitely gonna be there. The Doger one has to be there because that's the one everybody. And the third one. Did I do something locally? I don't know.
Oh,
screen share
absolutely.
messed up my cameras, but it's all good.
Yeah, I'm actually not seeing the screen share on the stream. It's just like all of our boxes are all mixed up now.
Okay. All right. Well, here
Let's see.
All right.
This dude said, "Is it a local one?" Man, what are you thinking, Glenn?
This is the first one. This is the first one. I'm gonna fast. I think. Sorry, it's a little bit too far back. My apologies. All right.
Now, I would like to see, like no Asians right there, never mind, because you want to trust out to get a lot.
So this is to make it out in the top 8 of combo breaker.
What a glorious moment.
Last character. We both have meter. And the decision Glenn makes is to level 3 of that.
Super Saiyan Rose.
The big pawn face. Here comes my favorite part, though. There's so many emotions that go through it. And see you later. Ooh, that's the freeze frame.
This is prime Doza.
And
Was this in the
Victory.
combo breaker? What's it called? The thing that combo breaker did recently. I forgot what they called it.
The retrospective.
Yeah, the retrospective.
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But I didn't get to watch too much of it. But I remember that one specifically. After I jumped off the stage and I ran for a little bit, my knee started hurting.
Oh my god!
I didn't realize
I forgot
how
about
far
that.
of a jump that was, and I was like, man, I jumped pretty far. Yeah, and I ran for a while too, man. Like I was feeling it. Oh,
Too
geez.
much excite.
All this. Oh my god, yes. Okay, I'm ready for this one.
All right, so we got number 2. All right, hold on, let me add it. Throw it on the stream.
Wait, is it? Yeah, it's two.
Man,
It's two.
Look how tiny you were, bro. Holy shit.
I was tiny as shit.
Baby Glenn, bro.
Baby
Doza, yo, I mean,
Look
he played
a
super solid.
14-year-old
Super
child
impressive,
right here.
Like, yeah, didn't fold. I always kept
All
it
the
clean
Louisiana
all the way
homies in
through.
the back.
I've always
And
said
Goichi's
Rockets-
like, damn, bro, you
The
just choked
delay
that.
pop off. Let it replay. We got Steph in the back. We got Stan.
Wait, is it?
And he's like, no way. Did
Yeah,
I?
it's two.
No way that happened. No way that happened.
It's two. Yeah, it's two. Yo!
Dude, I can't get over how fucking tiny you were, bro.
He didn't even
We got
let me
Zito.
know.
Yeah, dude. Like,
James.
like
Doza,
the crazy
yo,
thing about that
he played super
that
solid. That was super
pop-off,
impressive,
right,
honestly.
is that
Like, yeah, didn't fold. I always
is
kept it
that
clean all the way through.
when it happened,
I've always said Ragna's
of course,
pretty
you know, I didn't realize that I won. But the biggest thing was that was my first time ever like beating a top player, like ever. Like that's never happened to me before. And I personally like to call it like the beginning of my fighting game. Like I guess stardom is the word. Because you know, like that was a big moment, right? Like no one had beaten Dogra at all. And oh jeez. That one.
Actually,
Yeah, I was
don't know.
saving this one for the last.
Oh, this was.
This one's not even really a pop off from you, I would say, but like
it's
this is
not,
like
but-
the best emotional
man.
like.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna comment on this one after we watch it.
I'm
Is
pretty
there
sure
anything
you
more you wanted
tiered
to add about the Dogra one before we watch this?
Well, yeah, like so that was the first time I've ever beaten a top player, like ever. You know, like I think I was pretty consistent with beating other people, in general. But that was like my first time, like that was a huge upset, you know, and I went into the match, you know, feeling like I could do it, but I was like, if I win, I might just pass out, you know. And I think I won it in the most me way possible, which was being stupid and not realizing that you only have to play a 2 out of 3 to get out of pools instead of a 3 out of 5, you know, because
It's like you tricked yourself,
but-
right? Like, into like being less stressed, and you're just like, wait, what? I won.
Oh yeah, like, and it's funny because I played the last game because I got worried that Dogra was gonna come back on me. I played the last game like I needed to just take the lead. I played it like it was the last game without realizing it, because I definitely thought I had a whole nother game, and I always like to think like, you know, that would have been embarrassing, like if I lost, and I'm like. It could have went very wrong, obviously, but it didn't. You know, I had a great moment, and that was I think the time when, you know, my name was like getting out there, you know. But anyway, this one is the most recent one, so I'm
All right.
we can watch this one.
All right, gotcha.
Pretty sure there was tears at one point after this.
So to set the scene, this is the grand finals of
There
Slam.
definitely were.
This is 2018. Or is it the last one? Is 20?
2018.
It was 2018. Yeah. There's even more lore behind this matchup because this was the same grand finals that ran the year before that, where Glenn narrowly lost to Scrot. So this is a bit of a redemption arc.
Definitely, since it's a
And,
Louisiana event with an Atlanta player coming to him taking it the year before.
And it was This is a camera from someone watching from behind the scenes over there. So it doesn't have gameplay footage, but this is just like right after he wins. So I'll go ahead and play it. There's me and Alex. It was such a good video. I'm getting chills watching this thing.
Oh shit! I didn't even know I was in that.
Yeah, you're there.
I mean, I knew I was there. I didn't know I was. I didn't realize how close to the stage I was.
You have like the
Me and
whole
me and Loren
Louisiana
were trying to
community
get it.
coming up. Me and Alex are hugging you.
Oh,
We got
man.
everyone cheering.
Ooh, oh boy. that was a win, man. Like,
The complete fall out of the chair.
yeah, I did. I didn't know what to think.
Oh,
That's such a good ass moment. I'm just yelling, you deserve that shit.
Definitely top 5 moments in literally my entire life. Like that was the feeling of winning that set was I can't describe it, honestly. I felt like I was literally working an entire year for that set. Especially after like it ended like last year. Like last year, I also got into like very emotional about it after I lost because there was a lot of pressure on me. I was just recently sponsored, and everyone in Louisiana was like, kind of like, hoping that I would win, and there was a lot riding on the set that the year before, and then I at the end I just really couldn't take it, and I was like, man, like this is like the worst loss I've ever had in anything. And then winning the next year was I'm at a loss for words because oh man, knowing that you were able to do what you couldn't before is a crazy feeling.
my boy.
So you can surpass your limits. You just stay dedicated.
Oh yeah, I think if I had to pick one, that might be my favorite. Like, it also helps that I beat a player I have a lot of respect for. Like, me and Scrot are like good friends outside of fighting games. And as a fighting game player, I respect him a ton. Like that guy has gone and beaten gods in Melty Blood and several other games, and he's just a model fighting game player just in general. So the fact that I was able to beat him at all was like, this is crazy. Like I did that.
Rob just jumped in. He said, "Laugh my ass off at Doza's pick." That's him. That's not a picture, bro. That's him live right now.
That's it,
Yeah, that's me.
That's him in the webcam.
Wait, who just joined?
Rob
Rob TV.
and the fight guru said, "Sorry, Doza, I want to chime in, but my internet can't handle 1080p."
Oh, it's cool, man. No biggie.
What's
Yeah.
Ruben says he also cried during that when he saw
Hey,
you.
bro, I'm not gonna lie, I was emotional as fuck, bro. I
Yeah,
was
that
going
was-
back and forth with Scraw's homie because I like Scraw. He's actually a really cool dude. But like, he brought his homie with him, and it was like he was the lone person in the room screaming, and then he like it was like that thing with Kaba and Mena when they started screaming for each other. It was like he was the one challenging me to the match, and I was like, "You're not gonna win this, bro." And we ended up winning. You know what I'm saying? But,
Yeah, you did. That was
I like old dude's reaction when he lost. He's like, everybody's jumping on Doza. I can't imagine the feeling he has. He's like,
oh yeah.
He
like,
goes,
what else can he do? You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, he's and like
He's
you
got
say,
the
he's
whole
actually
room
a really
against
cool
me.
dude. So like Curtis, a little bit about the guy that he beat. So you remember Melty Gear?
What?
What?
You remember the game Melty Gear? I mean Melty Blood. I'm
Yeah.
I definitely
yeah.
just mixed
Oh
up
my
two
That's
different
recorded
fucking
forever
words.
in time.
Yeah, I definitely just mixed up two different words.
This man
But
said,
I'm pretty sure even as of right now, Scraw
I'm
still the
clipping that.
number one Melty Blood player, right?
Number
Yes,
one?
he is in North
And
America.
then
Yeah, he's
in
been.
US.
So that was like another, essentially, even though not a Dragon Ball god, but that was another takedown of a god. But
Yeah,
so
man.
there's
Like,
a.
I think
I
about
just
it.
like that a lot because it meant something to Doza. Like
Some pretty
Yeah.
good
that's the best wins.
I think there was a cutout when he was saying something.
He's still me.
Oh no, I had to mute myself, but like I'm
Oh.
thinking about it sometimes, and I'm like, man, I beat some really good people. Like, I don't really like think I'm like super high profile, but like, man, on a good day, dude, I am on one, man. Like, Jesus Christ.
DJ, shut the fuck up.
What did
Dude,
Dylan say? I didn't hear
No,
that. What did he say?
he's taking shots at me. Dude, I'm so sorry that I mixed the names up
I
and
just
that I've
typed in the
literally
chat.
Melty
Shout outs
Gear?
to
Yeah,
all the
man,
Melty Gear
that's
players.
I've literally watched 10 minutes of that game in its whole lifespan.
Melty Gear.
I'm also fried,
with a
bro.
combo snake.
Bro, I slept like 3 hours and I worked all day, bro. Leave me alone.
Like,
Look, Rob trying to get on this too, all right? That's why you fucking
Melty
waves.
Gear, my new
That's why.
favorite
Hey,
fighting.
look, all right, Rob. That's why your waves whack, bro.
No,
Oh my God.
well, you ain't have to come
Why
at
you
him.
gotta hate on Melty Gear players like that, dude?
Yeah, I know, right? Melty Gear players, why would you even do that, dog?
Look, shut up.
Yo, Rob
right, next
in the
question.
chat, bro.
Next
yo,
question.
Rob in the chat. Rob, dog. My man's Dylan said that when he was in high school, he used to walk around with a wave brush in his pocket, G.
Bro, look, you about to see it. Oh. I'm not gonna take the hat off right now. Actually, my shit probably looks all messed up right now, but you're gonna see. Look,
I'm not saying you don't have waves. I still just think that shit's hilarious.
I mean, for me, it was normal, bro. Like it's like I could use a fucking comb. What am a comb? I'm a comb my fucking my 2-1 fade. Like
Your Lego guy hair.
Lego guy.
Shut the fuck up.
Shit.
So, Glenn, we got one more question, and then we're gonna roll into the topics. So the last question I really wanted to ask you was, if you could add rollback to any game right now, what would it be?
Blaze Blue, Central Fiction, no questions asked.
Damn,
Not what I thought you were gonna say.
100%.
Not what I thought you were gonna say.
I know people were probably thinking Dragon Ball. Some people were probably thinking Marvel 3 maybe. No. Blaze Blue, Central Fiction, no questions asked, 100%.
Nah, Primal Rage, what's up?
Holy shit.
So like
I've never
the
seen a
big thing
game with
about
more
Blaze
whack inputs for special moves than that game. My wife.
The worst inputs of all time.
KOF are pretty whack, but I don't know about Primal Rage. That's before my time.
Oh, you Google that and just have fun looking at it thinking, are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to input this after buttons?
What?
Yeah, they like reverse it where like you press a button and then you do a motion, and I think that it comes out or something like that. It just
It's
makes
so
no sense.
stupid.
You haven't lived till you had to input a pentagram. Yeah, it's just some wild, over the top stuff. But continue on about Blazing.
Yeah, like as much as I love every fighting game that I've played, like almost every, there are some I don't like, but of course this is not the conversation for that. None have ever captured my attention or my want to play them as much as Blaze Blue, and also Blaze Blue was my first fighting game. A lot of people, the first fighting game I took seriously. A lot of people don't know that. Well, it was one of my first. Like, I also played Tatsunoko versus Capcom on the Wii, but that was before like my fighting game competitor time. Like that was when I was a casual. If y'all want to see my Ryu Batsu, you can catch the word. But
Pro tag man
Um,
over here. Oh my god.
yeah, dude, I'm always on them, bro. But like the biggest thing with Blaze Blue is that it's been around with me for so long, and I play a character that I have like a really strong connection to. I feel and I don't think um I don't think any fighting game has really captured me like Blaze Blue has for the longevity that it has. You know, like there's something about that game that always gets me to go back to.
I think that happens a lot with the first game that you get really competitive with and delve into. It just always holds that special spot.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
It's
Like
like
it's irreplaceable for me.
mhm.
Like if people ask me what my favorite fighting game of all time is, you know, I can't necessarily say a version of Blaze Blue considering there's a version that's out right now, but if I would just say Blaze Blue, you know, just in general, like as a whole, like Blaze Blue is my first love when it comes to fighting games, and I wouldn't trade that game for anything, dude. Like I love me some Blaze Blue, and if I got the chance to make it have to implement rollback into it and give it, you know, literally a whole new life without a second thought, you know, like I like a lot of fighting games, like a lot of fighting games, but
Yeah, imagine that game like coming out in the time it did, but just like with rollback or something where you could actually just
man,
like grind out stuff
I don't
and
know if I'd
actually
play
play
anything
against
else.
people. Yeah.
I don't know if I would play anything else.
Another thing that made me realize, like when Melee just came out with rollback, and I've been playing a bunch of Melee recently because I used to dabble, and it just, I don't know, it just the fact that you can just hop on, play against the majority of people anywhere in the United States, and it's like it feels like the actual thing as opposed to like this is the online way to play. It's crazy. It just opens up everything.
Holy shit! You just said something, so I'm getting you back now for you coming at me with the melty gear shit. So
What?
when I first met DJ, I thought
Uh-oh.
DJ was just a straight up melee player. All right. So in our and like a side branch of the Louisiana Fighting Game Friendship Group, we used to have a Christmas party every year. We called Edgemas. You know, I think we did it for like 3 or 4 years. It would be like 15, 20 of us get
Oh, I know
together,
what you're about.
drank
Oh
all
my
night,
God.
play games. This is the year. This is like 6 months before Street Fighter 5 comes out. DJ runs up to me and he's like, "Yo, Dylan. So you gonna play fifth strike, 5 strike when it comes out?" And I was like, "What the fuck did you just say?" And he was like, "Oh shit, I mean Street Fighter 5." So yeah, don't come at me, bro. Don't come at me, fifth strike.
You're stone cold sober right now. I was. Hold on.
Hey, bro, I'm fried. It doesn't matter.
I was big fried then. I was like 5 or 6 drinks in by that time. I said fifth strike though. You see
So
me?
going in,
I know. I was just like super drunk. I'd be like, fifth strike. Come on. Oh my gosh.
but so to touch on a couple topics. To touch on a
Drink
couple topics,
responsibly,
I wanted to
everybody.
hit real quick. For one, all of Crescent Esports, we are all wishing Knuckle Dew a fast and speedy recovery. You know, if everybody already knows what's happened, I don't think there's been too much of an update lately. I know that it was said that he was gonna have a full recovery, but it was gonna take time. All of us at Crescent Esports are wishing you a speedy recovery, bro, and the best for you and your family. But so another thing, and this is where we want your opinion too, Glenn. So with it's kind of weird because you and me literally talked about this last night, but so with the whole Evo situation and the removal of Mr. Wiz now, finally, where do you see where like for all of us, you know, Curtis too? I think because you only been to one Evo, right, Curtis?
Nah. I've been to a few.
Oh, okay. I thought you only went to one. So what do you think is the potential for Evo's future now without Mr. Wiz?
I think the entire future of Evo depends solely on the Cannon brothers, right? I believe one of the Cannons is acting as CEO currently now that Mr. Wiz is gone.
Yeah.
And it has potential, right? Like they have a lot of trust to build back because they knew him, right? They knew who he was.
Yeah.
He worked for them, right? Like so they're not going to be immediately trusted. But with new leadership brings new opportunities, and there's definitely a potential for them to make Evo better than it was even before, right? Like a lot of people love Evo. I have my feelings on the event. It wasn't my favorite event, but I still went to it. It has the notoriety, and it's earned that notoriety, right? It's not like it's just randomly, oh, this is the best fighting game event ever. This is the one you gotta go to. No, it earned it at some point. It earned the right to be called the premier fighting game event for the world, right? Do I think right now that it has that kind of notoriety and push? No, absolutely. And I have my feelings about how the former CEO treated people and ran his event in general, and the fact that we have a new opportunity with new leadership, I think, is bright for the company. It's what they needed, and it's probably for the best time too. There have been a lot of things going around about Evo, from the after parties to certain participations of certain owners of Evo doing specific things that just weren't in a good light, and a lot of people weren't even looking to go because they didn't want to support Mr. Wizard and the current practices of Evo. And I think now that there's new leadership and a new face and a new chance, right? Like there's and I'm excited for the future, and I hope they do right by us as a fighting game community, because that's something we really need right now. We're hurting, and we need some good news, honestly.
So because you said after party, there's definitely a question I want to ask. So I was like scrolling earlier and I was reading about people's views of the after party. What's y'all's take on that? Because I'm gonna be honest, I enjoy the after parties at events. Like it gives us that break to like I saw a lot of people like just go drink in a hotel room. It's not the same. Like I enjoy all of us getting together and actually being like able to like goof off and not just be confined to the
Hanging
hotel
out with
room
the
for a bit.
community.
Yeah, like so many
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, I think this is stupid. I play games to get away from stuff like this." But the thing is, some of the people that I was reading say that are the same people that I've seen at CEO after parties and Evo after parties, hanging out with everybody, laughing, having a good time, and getting drunk. So, like, my opinion on that is, if you really don't like it or don't think it should be a thing, just don't go. Like, I don't see why people are trying to push for the events to like cancel that.
There's nothing to have an opinion on in that from either side. If I want to go, I go. We go have fun. It's there. If you don't want to go, you don't go. There's literally no reason for anybody that doesn't want to go to speak up on it, because who gives a shit what you think about a party? If you don't like the party, you don't like the party. You know what I mean? That's such a weird thing for people to speak out and tell people that they don't like it. Why would you want it canceled?
Yeah,
Just
I
because you
see.
don't want to go. We're
I
having
think
fun.
some people think that that environment kind of enables some of like the awful behaviors that we've seen from accusations and accounts and stuff. But I
That
think
could
in a lot of
happen at
ways,
a
like
regular bar.
Yeah, bro.
The Evo
Nah.
after party, from what I heard, I remember seeing there was like a lot of people that had just were completely unrelated, just that stumbled into the casino or wherever the venue was at.
The Luxor.
Yeah, and
This
ended
is
up going
true.
in.
There are definitely parts I agree with you, Zip, in that if people don't want to go to the after party, they just straight up should not go.
That's right.
Actually, I went to the after party for Evo last year, and I had a pretty decent time. I wanted to go. I do think that the after party should be probably a bit safer. There are definitely proper measures that should be taken for things like that. Like you said, Dylan, people who were random just slipped into there, and
Mhm.
I saw it, like literally my eyes were laid on it, and that kind of stuff just in general is not safe, especially in a city like Las Vegas. There were literally people who got roofied at that after party, and
You definitely cut out, and I want to hear what you said. So please rewind real quick.
Glenn?
Oh, he's still cut out.
Did we lose?
Damn.
Hold on, give me a second.
There we go.
Okay, am I good now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear you now.
Okay, I was saying that there were people who were legitimately like drugged at that after party, and I don't think that's due to the after party itself. I think it's just due to
Of course
the
not.
proper security measures not being taken at that after party. Because I
That's
think
a rock with that.
people would like to have something that's not just fighting games at a fighting game event. Like I enjoyed my time there, but I think it's a failure on the staff themselves that things like that didn't happen, and that it wasn't looked into. Like that's super serious.
Yeah, but does
You
that
know-
fall on Evo though? Because these after parties are the Red Bull after party, the Twitch after party. So does that,
falls on
and those are
whoever's
at
running
multiple
it.
events.
It falls on whoever's running it, and regardless of who's running it, the proper security measures should be taken regardless, right? Those are people's lives.
Exactly.
You know, like whether it be Evo, Twitch, Red Bull, CEO, it doesn't matter. You know, like people need to be safe. You know, especially in an environment like that where people are going to get a bit loose and probably have a bit more fun than they should be having, right? Like nobody should have to be worrying about getting drugged of all things, you know, because that was a big thing that no one really even looked into. Was that I literally had a friend that got drugged, and she didn't know who to turn to because the proper channels weren't there, right? Like there needs to be a stricter safety regulations for things like that. Do I think they should go away? Absolutely not. I think that we need things like that. Just from a entertainment perspective, right? Like I don't see the problem with it being there. It's just that people need to it needs to be safe. Just in general.
Yeah, you just gotta run it like a club, man. Have somebody behind the bar that's serving the drinks that is legally able to serve drinks. You have people at the front that is checking for something, our badge, anything that signifies that you're supposed to be there. If you have people checking at the door, you have the right people watching over the facility, and you have the right people behind the bar. There's nothing, you know. I mean, of course, anything can happen at any given time. But that's the safest that you could get in. And we need to put those things in place. You have to have security at the front. You gotta have people. You can't just have, hey, that's the homie, man. Go ahead and let him serve the drinks. What the fuck? No, you can't do that.
So like I saw a lot of the complaints were that people shouldn't be worried about going to after parties. They should be worried about getting games in and bettering themselves and stuff like that. But at the same time, like definitely for like us, we're usually at events for 4 to 5 days. Like, you know, we roll up on Thursday, we're playing games Thursday. Then we got Friday, then we got Saturday, then we got Sunday, and then we don't leave till Monday. So like I don't see what that 4-5 hours that we spend at a club is taking away from, because it also like gives us a chance to let loose. Because if you want to go that far into it, technically bar fights can be considered the same as like a Twitch party. Bar fights is another little thing that goes on in a fucking bar or club setting that they just let everybody go into and drink. The only difference is there's matches on stage, but like it's the same concept. But I mean, like CEO 2018, I mean, we had a blast that year at the Red Bull after party, dude. It was so fun. And it was like, you know, 4 hours of just us getting together and letting loose. So rolling into the last topic, because I know we are, you know, trying to cut this short tonight. All of us are big tired. So obviously everything has been on fire lately. You know, all the sexual misconduct and everything going on in our communities, and there's a serious need right now for accountability and safety in our communities. What do y'all think that could happen to, you know, create that the proper like who to go to and like how situations should properly be handled?
So this is gonna be a big one, right? And unfortunately, it hurts a lot of the younger talent here. Right, like because I know people in the scene, literally the Louisiana scene, like that are younger talent and come to these tournaments a bit on their own, right? I definitely think there needs to be a legal guardian of some sort for any player under the age of 18. That needs to be a thing, in my opinion, because this is a community of so many from all walks of life. And I'm not gonna, judge anyone based on where they come from or what they do, right? But a child should not be subject to the kind of things that they've been subjected to in these cases. I was shocked. I was disgusted, and imagine what could have been avoided if there was just literally just a parent or an older brother or somebody just there for a kid. Like I started competing in this community when I was 18. I felt like I was at a point where I'm an adult, I can take care of myself. But there are people who come to tournaments that are literally 16, 15. Dylan, you've met one of them. You met a couple of them actually, right? Yeah. Like, and they're good people. And luckily, we're surrounded by a community locally that has great people who would not even dare to think of hurting someone in any way, shape, or form. But not all people are our people. Sorry,
it's just. I mean, because like even you, like granted, you came in at 18. It was. I mean, you even had restrictions. At one point, you were playing through the glass of outside because you couldn't walk into the bar where we were holding locals at. That picture is too godlike. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, there was that kid from MechaCon, the Dragon Ball player.
Jakey the Snakey, that's who I was
referring
to. Shout out
him,
to Jakey, by the way.
And then look at the same thing with. I don't want to touch on that part, to be honest, but I mean, like kids like him, so, and he can come to a Louisiana fighting game event because at the end of the day, like even the people in our community that has issues with each other, like even the people have issues with each other when it comes down to it, like everybody actually has each other's back when it comes to certain things. So, like we all know that not only is there anybody in our personal community, at least I'm pretty sure we know that nobody would do anything like that. But we also know that in the situation that somebody would, it would get handled immediately. And, like you said, everybody's not us. So, we don't know what goes on in other scenes and what.
And we're a smaller, tighter knit scene, and we know.
Yeah.
I mean, even with that said, like I have a 13-year-old and I have an 11-year-old. Now, even with that said, you could vouch for yourself and say to the greatest man in the world, y'all are close knit. Da da da. If I walk in that building with my kids, I'm not leaving the building without the kids, and I'm not leaving their side. I'm not even going to go any further on that. Just take what I said as that. You know what I'm saying?
And I understand
regarding anything else, plug that how you want to. I just got to say, like, I'm going to be by my kids. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if you just cut out or not.
100% agree. Like the fact that number one, no one did anything.
I mean,
there was no one there for the kid. Like it needs to become a standard that if you're below a certain,
I think I'm missing on this on what you're saying. You're saying like the kid. Can I get a breakdown, or are we not going to dive into that?
I think that would be up to you guys.
Because there's so many different things going on. I don't know exactly what you're talking about.
We could talk about this. We could talk about this after, but I don't think we should actually dive specifically into this.
It's just a very talented player who was underage and was attending tournaments without guardians or without.
Right. Yes, and I think that's just a scary concept. Like just being that young without a parent or legal guardian. And I think in the future, going forward, right, there needs to be a limit, just in general, that in the it is a public place, right? Like most tournaments are held in public, businesses, and there needs to be.
Damn, Glenn cut out again.
There are people out there, man. Like not everyone's kind.
It's really
So what I
upsetting,
think
though.
you're getting at is you're trying to say like events need to like even with what I said, right? I'm gonna be with my kids, right? Like kind of saying people be with your kids, right? Don't just let your kids run willy nilly. But even with that said, you're trying to get at the fact that events should have those rules in place. And you walk up, they say, nope. If you're about to leave, then your son's going with you. I'll rock with that. I think that they definitely need to do that. And I do think that it is very, very lacking on the security of an event that you walk up, you go, hey, I got a badge. That's it. Whoop, that's it. That's a wrap. You're doing whatever you want from there. You just got a badge. It's over. I think something definitely needs to be done on that accord.
Try to walk in with a water bottle, though. All I'm saying is
outside food or drink. Yeah.
Evo 2018, bro. I got snatched up twice for a water bottle that was sticking out of my backpack that I didn't even know I had. And I'm talking about like I'm watching all the foolishness that went on, and here I am. I got a water bottle, bro. And hey, get over here. Come step over here. You can't bring that in.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It's just a huge thing.
I mean,
I think for like this is a scene that can bring like a huge amount of opportunities and growth for the youth. Like Sonic Fox won a major at like 14 or 15 or something like that, and then shot into stardom from there. And I really think that like I don't know, it's a weird thing because in other sports it's separated by age, right? Like we'll have tournaments for youth, and then we'll have tournaments for adults, but this is a different thing where like everyone is in the same bracket together. So like I don't know, and that's part of like some of the magic like in brackets is that some like at KIT who was it Ninja Killa's little brother who was like 13 or something like that was just destroying people left and right. I think he made top 8. He got 7th or something like that. So it's like I don't know. It's like, and it's also a place for younger generations to like do something find something they really enjoy and be passionate about for years. And I think it's just incredibly important that we figure out some better way. I don't know what it's going like. Definitely venue restrictions. Maybe even like separation of like age brackets at some point if we're really just going to be like, look, there are bad people and we have to avoid this. I don't know.
Honestly, what's going to end up needing to happen is if you're under 18, you can't compete. And the reason I say that is because majority of esports now, that is the thing. You cannot compete under the age of 18 years old. And that lot of
that's fair.
How? I mean, it keeps
this
a lot of other
scenes. The FGC is kind of unique in its own thing because like
it's been like that in other games though too. In Call of Duty, you said a lot of the 2 of the best players in the world had to literally retire for 2 years because after Advanced Warfare in 2015 is when they were like, "Yo, it seems like some skeptical shit could happen. We're gonna cut this tie and make it 18." So 2 of the now best players in the world had to take 2 years off of playing the game and wait until they turned 18 and meet that. But outside of a commentator issue that's happened recently, like in that game specifically, there's never been issues like this. So I mean
even with that example, I still don't think that's fair. If you put security measures in place and you have your guardian, if you have your guardian with you, if that's the rule that's in place, then that's not we're not questioning what could happen to the kid at that point. So now we're just gonna, if you want to just skip giving them the guardian ownership and having them over them, if we're gonna skip over that and just go to you just can't even come anymore, that's just pushing people away from the scene. I don't like it.
I'm just wondering how well that would actually work. Definitely in a scene that tournaments are so often and so spread out all over the place, like. in the past, one of the cool things about having some of the youth there is because the parents were like, "Yo, I'm so happy that you're really into this, and we want to support you, so we're gonna let you go." But I mean, like, how feasible is it for now parents being like, well, now I have to also fly to Vegas and then fly to Florida a month after and then fly to Combo Breaker and sit in this event the whole entire weekend? Like, I understand don't get me wrong, I'm not disagreeing. Like, for safety reasons, it's great, but like, is it really that feasible to continue to work and these parents continue to keep doing it after a while? Like, or are they going to be like, I'm sorry, I can't keep doing this? Because now the parents are taking off for work and all that.
If they can't do 5 events, if they can't do 4, then now they just do 1 because they can't afford it. Sorry. I mean, that's even dudes without kids that are just going on their own accord. If they can't afford it, they don't go. You know what I mean? I don't think that talking about how much it's going to cost and it being feasible is what we're getting at here. Saying it's unfair for a kid to not be able to go anymore because of the dangers, when the dangers will be solved by the Guardian.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that. Just saying. Also, part of it is me. It's actually ridiculous that it even has to be this.
I mean, I would agree with that it's ridiculous that it has to be like that. But I'm just gonna say, people are evil, and if somebody just is gullible enough to think I can fly my kid away from me and just be appalled and not appalled and just and not even imagine that something could happen, you just you fly your kid off away from you across the state. To me, that's crazy because in my brain, people are just pure evil, and I'm not gonna let my kids run free like that because I'm about to be there.
It's not even just across state, though. I mean, look at the whole thing with Puppet. I mean, that was happening at his own locals. That was happening 20, 30 minutes away from his home.
Yeah.
Well, so
there also, it requires, like, we got to change, like, as a culture and just to be on notice for behavior. And I see a lot of what people are saying after all of these reports of these, like, awful behaviors have happened, is that all these people are like, oh man, I kind of like let things slide because like what this guy said was kind of creepy in the situation, but blowing him up would be such a huge traumatic thing. Or like all these people kind of like let things where they kind of had hints of like where this is a little weird, maybe this shouldn't be happening, maybe I should call this guy out. But then like since they're notable people in the community or they don't want to like go through all of that, blah blah blah, what have you, then they don't act on it. But I think everybody in the scene now has to change as a culture to where like if you notice something, it doesn't matter who a person is, it doesn't matter how involved they are, it doesn't matter like if you've known them as a friend for a while, it's like you have to call things into question right then and there.
Yeah. Calling people out is just something that I feel anybody should do. It. I know that there's people that are, in their own box, in their own bubble, and they don't do things like that. But you say some shit out of line, like you should be talked to right there. I feel like that's just how everybody should operate. That's what you're saying. But I'm just saying, I do that. My circle does that. And I just feel like that's something that everybody should embody. People just want to let everybody be comfortable and don't want to cause scenes. Nah, if you're out of line, you're out of line.
Yeah.
I also would like to go back to how feasible it would be to do. I think on a local scale, it's pretty easy, right?
Oh yeah, a local scale, absolutely.
Yeah, like you literally check an ID at the door. You're under a certain age, you can't play Playboy. Like that's it. It sucks, right? Like, but we need to keep these places safe, and not a community where we necessarily we're not to a point where we can take hits like that. We need to keep these places safe all the time, and that should be the case for any place.
Any place.
Any place. Like,
well, to touch on that, shout out to one of the Tennessee homies, Tito. He made a tweet that I completely agree with, and I feel the same exact way. Like Tito said, if we're at an event, no matter who you are, if something's wrong, if you feel like somebody's creeping you out, if you need help, anything like that, he straight up said, "Come find me. I will whether we know each other and whether we don't know each other, I will help you handle the situation. And I feel this. I stand with him on that. Like to anybody, whether I'm close to you or not, if we're at an event and you need anything, like I'm pretty sure most of my teammates feel the same way. I will happily help somebody out of a bad situation, and squash that shit right there and not let it turn into any more of this, because this is something we are gonna. There is no really outside power. Okay, Capcom can ban you. Okay, great, but it already happened. So this is something we're gonna have to like take into our own hands as a community to shut down before it even gets bad.
Yeah. I thought Glenn was saying something. Was
No, I've been
Alright.
quiet. I've been quiet.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Well,
I
we
agree. I
are.
don't know. I would say, like, I don't know if
Come
big events like probably need to add some sort of like safe space or like some sort of like report this issue, and then we'll have people look into it immediately. I'll, like, have staff on deck as well for like questionable behavior. But yeah.
Well, we're pulling up on that 2-hour mark. Anybody have anything else they want to say, or?
I had a question for Glenn. I think we didn't get to.
Ooh, what's up? What's up with it?
I was wondering if you could take any character from the Dragon Ball universe that you wanted to put in Dragon Ball Fighters, who would be on your team, and would they all still be Goku?
That's a hard one, man. I kind of already got everything I want.
Dude, I gotta post that video.
Shit. Okay, so one
You want
character.
Topo, bro?
So there's actually one character that I'm a big fan of that did not get any love in Dragon Ball FighterZ, and it might shock you, right?
Yajirobe.
The character I actually most want in Dragon Ball FighterZ is Majin Vegeta.
That's actually
I've
got
heard that one a few times.
Mm-hmm. Like I just want a Vegeta with like a different play style, like similar to kind of like how Ultra Instinct Goku got, where he literally does not play like a Goku at all, right? Like he plays like a I don't know what the hell he plays. He plays like some shit, like that character's crazy. But I would love Majin Vegeta. I was a big fan of his. Like in several games, like Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3, that was my main. Like I love that character. He had the final explosion. His attacks had a bit of evilness to them that weren't like super like noticeable, right? It was like you can still tell this.
That shit right there.
Yeah.
That's one of the coolest fucking blasts in Dragon Ball, bro.
You know what's up. And then you get the final explosion, which is that move is, man blows himself up. Like, come on, bro. Yeah, Android 16 blows himself up, whatever. I don't care. It's not the same.
So you not trying to play Dodoria?
Heck no. What?
You
Wow.
you sleep. You're a coward.
Now you know who they really need in that game?
Zarbon.
Pycon or Dabura.
Pycon is the best character in the Dragon Ball universe, hands down.
Pycon or Dabura. That's amazing. Come on, Glenn. What you got to say about that?
Hercule with the jetpack.
About what? Absolutely
No.
not.
Pycon is the best
Hell no.
character in the universe.
I don't agree with that, but he was cool as shit. I would love. I would play. I don't like that game, but I would play it just so I could hit somebody with the little tornado spin.
Bro, Pycon
That's
killed
okay, man.
Frieza and Cell at the same time in like 15 seconds.
He did.
It took
He super
it
shit.
took
I would
Goku
like
a total of 47 episodes to kill both. Hercule with a jetpack win. Chance, you know you want it. Don't lie. But Chance wants the Doria. Chance loves the Doria.
Doria. Oh my god.
Dude, he's
Might
a
as well
lord.
throw Cooey in that motherfucker.
Nah, bro. The
Chance
Doria's a
wants
lord.
the Super Saiyan
Cool, bro.
4.
You know you played the
talking about-
Doria. What you
Talking
mean,
about
bro?
Dragon Ball. The Prince of all Saiyans.
Or
Come on,
Jace.
man, it's the boy. I've been fucking with this all night. When you talk about Dragon Ball now.
A lot of people wanted just
man.
Super Saiyan 4 just from GT. Just that form, but he only shows up as the Super.
I'm a big fan of Super Saiyan 4. I would also
Super
not mind
Saiyan
that
4
either.
Vegeta's got swag as fuck.
Super Saiyan 4 was cool shit. I wish they would put that back. Bring that into Super in some way. Some weird alternate universe type
that's not
stuff
even
where
canon
they
anymore.
Yeah, but I wish they would make it canon. Like they could do something where some alternate universes get intertwined or something, and then they fight together. That'd be cool as hell.
So Zip, have you watched Super Dragon Ball Heroes?
Super Dragon Ball Heroes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that is legitimately what happens.
I haven't
not
watched
even
it,
kidding.
but I
You
like
talking about
what
that
they're
YouTube
doing.
series?
I don't know if it's a YouTube series.
I don't
It's like a
think
spin-off
it's-
of one of the games, but it takes place during Dragon Ball Super. And it's like literally Goku from an alternate universe, except he didn't learn Super Saiyan Blue. He learned Super Saiyan 4 instead. And he fights Goku Blue. And it's sick. It's sick. If you get a chance, you need to go watch it.
I
Didn't
think
they
I know
have
what
the
you're talking about.
Xenoverse
That's the
game?
same thing where they fought Gold Cooler.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Then I know what you're talking about. I see, but those are little snippets, man. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about full length, whole season. Goku runs into himself, fights Super Saiyan 4, goes, hold up. Wait, you're good? Oh, shoot. And then they got to squash a new enemy together. That would be fire. I'm talking about full length, not them little snippets.
Little snippets.
New saga. When's the next season of Super? Isn't that happening or something? I don't even know.
Man, I was patiently waiting on that. Now I'm not even waiting anymore. It can just pop up whenever it pops up.
Hey, yo, Dylan.
What's
Dylan.
up, fam?
Yeah, let me get one of those.
What is that?
You want one?
Bruh. Hey, man, give me one.
We're about to get new ones. We're about to get them made on.
Bro, you can't just be doing this, man.
It's happening soon, bro.
Yeah, he's mad disrespectful for
I
that.
just had to hit you with it.
That's messed up.
I just had to hit you with it real quick. I had to see what you think. I didn't know if you were gonna like it. Now I know you like it.
Mad disrespectful for that
Yes,
one. You
give me
wrong.
mine, bro. What you mean?
All right, look, it's gonna happen. We're working on it right now. I just want to see what you would. I wanted to see the reactions. So it worked. I got the reactions I need now. Go. All right. Just like we about to go our ass to bed.
Oh my god. Segue, and that's it.
Yo. Please hire Dylan for segues, bro.
That's all, folks.
Yeah, yoinked off stage. I'll see you guys later.
Dude, I should go into commentating, bro. I'm too godlike. So,
You can be a Melty Gear commentator.
Hey, yeah, you can go commentate Fifth Strike, bitch. Shut the fuck up.
Oh shoot.
So,
man.
Thank y'all for tuning in. This was episode 5. We brought Doza, which you have to see his true identity since his camera wouldn't work.
Yeah, we'll have to bring him on another time in the future.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. Next time.
He pulled
For
a
now,
typical.
Franklin is all y'all get.
He pulled a typical Glenn OS. It happens.
What does that mean?
I'm just kidding. I love you. Stop. So, thank you for coming on, Glenn. It was great talking to you, getting to watch those clips with you.
Of course. It was a great time. I enjoyed myself. I don't really get to do a lot of things where I just talk. So this was a different experience for me. I liked it. Definitely getting better at the whole talking thing.
Yeah, you are. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching us, and we will see you next Sunday night.
Peace out, everybody.